Hello, my friends. Welcome back to Restricted Republic. My name is Justus, and I can't thank you enough for being here. I'm sure you had as rough of a night as we did. Lisa and I watching the election results roll in on those two key Georgia Senate races, and it appears that Warnock has been awarded a victory, at least so far. We'll take nothing for finality until it's all said and done. Unfortunately, Ossoff and Perdue still being decided, but what really happened there? For those of you who say we don't offer a silver lining at times, it's all doom and gloom. Well, it's doom and gloom for one man, and that man's Joe Biden, because his worst nightmare has now taken one step closer to becoming a reality, putting him directly on a collision course with overall Democratic disaster. Confused? You shouldn't be. Because what happens when you take away the boogeyman? What happens if Biden was to assume the presidency? Well, all his shields of they did that, or they're responsible for that, or those evil Republicans, if you control everything, you have no shield left. I'm going to show you exactly how big of a disaster this is about to become if America has any consciousness left at all. But before I get there, if you haven't subscribed to me here on this channel, I certainly hope you will. The channels are growing exponentially. They're going to grow a lot more now that you need the media. Well, not the media, the truth media, those of us still remaining to provide you truth. And I don't ask for donations. That's why we created Restricted Republic. Boy, that name just becomes more appropriate every day, doesn't it? Unfiltered, uncensored, no sponsors, no commercials, beholden to no one but our audience. That's the way we wanted it. Right now, we're going to give you 14 days for free simply for checking it out, restrictedrepublic.com. If you value any freedom at all, and you want the news as you're to be provided it, then get over there now. It's becoming more imperative than ever. But now we're going to transition into this broadcast back to what's going on and why Biden's nightmare is. Oh, I love this. I'm going to take great solace out of what's about to occur. You see here on Stopping Socialism, AOC, other far left radicals turn up the heat on Biden to accept their socialist demands. There's demands everywhere. Joe Biden, the amount of pressure that will come on him if they were to conclude and win both the Georgia Senate races, putting the Senate at a tie, Kamala Harris being the deciding vote. We know how that will go. Well, now what happens with AOC and the squad and everybody else demanding everything out of Joe Biden? BLM is already making Biden demands. Didn't the far left tell us that they would set the agenda? Well, they want to set Biden's agenda. And if Biden is given, the House and Senate, he'll have no excuse or nobody to point the finger of blame at if he can't get something done. And so that far left agenda will now polarize even further, pushing Joe to maybe limits he doesn't want to go or isn't comfortable with. And I'm going to play some clips that shows you he's not comfortable with it. This was posted by Black Lives Matter. Join Black Lives Matter in our request for a meeting with President-elect Biden and Vice President-elect Harris. Sign our petition now. That back on November 9th. We want to be heard and our agenda to be prioritized. The truth is, getting Trump out of office was not the end-all, be-all. The statement read, the work is just beginning. We want to be heard and our agenda to be prioritized. And Joe Biden, if you are handed control of the Senate and the House, good luck with that. Oh, you have no idea what's coming at you now, do you? And who are you going to blame? You won't have anyone to blame because this progressive agenda, the corporate free zones that are being requested, are also pressing Biden to lock out big business. Again, this is just the beginning of what they're demanding from Joe Biden.
Because that's how they beat the living hell out of us across the country, saying that we're talking about defunding the police. We're not. We're talking about holding them accountable.
Even Joe admitting that they beat the living hell out of us with the Defund the Police movement. pushing back against civil rights leaders. You see surrounding him there on the screen. We're going to go and show you about 2 or 3 clips from that. Joe Biden says defund the police movement, beat the hell out of Dems in 2020. Well, Joe, what are you going to do about it now? You won't have anybody else to fall back on or blame. Your boogeyman of Trump, if you were to assume the presidency, would be out of your way. And the Senate would be out of your way. And the House would be out of your way. So I hope you got a really nice mirror if you do move into the Oval Office, because the only one you'll have to blame is the person in the mirror themselves. And everyone around you will know that, Joe. Oh, your worst nightmare is truly coming into focus, isn't it?
On day one, I'm going to executive order to do this. Not within the constitutional authority. I am not going to violate the Constitution.
Joe, frankly, I don't think they care what you're going to violate or not violate. They're just going to want it done. This is a scenario to me. It's just now wonderful. I mean, you have to take some enjoyment out of what is occurring, or else you'll just run yourself right off the roof. But inside Biden's meeting with civil rights leaders, in a recording obtained by The Intercept, Biden was unenthusiastic about executive action and warned against police reform before Georgia's Senate runoff. Now, will he change, or will he just get more demands? Michael Moore demands Biden submit to the radical left, abolish electoral college, embrace socialism. In this long piece from Michael Moore, where he congratulates Joe, he tells him how amazing he is, how much he just loves him to death, how much he likes his pick of Kamala Harris, and then he goes into all his socialist demands. Healthcare is a human right, and every American must be covered. Everyone must be paid a living wage, and all of us must work to eliminate poverty and rebuild our broken middle class. The massive and growing gulf between the ultra-rich and everyone else must be narrowed, and the wealth must go back to paying the taxes they should pay. The wealthy should go back. Women must be paid the same as men, and no man or government has the right to tell them what they can do or not with their bodies. The beginning of the 277 or so odd policies for which Biden need not ask permission. The rolling back of all things Trump. I actually give a really long list. We don't have time here to go through it, so I'll go later on to my second broadcast and really cover this point by point so you understand everything that is about to change in great detail. Note, and you could just go into Trump rollbacks. I'll read a couple for you here. Rejoin the Paris Climate Agreement on day one. Undo Trump's rollback of federal land protection. Undo this Trump. Undo that Trump. Undo this Trump. Why don't you just undo everything, Joe? Do you have any idea the recourse of any of these actions that you and Bernie Sanders have worked out together? Although you haven't committed to any of the policies understood, you just go ahead and roll back everything, Joe. Because the only one to blame will be you. And everybody will be watching as you attempt to plunder and demolish, well, everything that Trump did. Democrats on the verge of unchecked power. Where was the GOP? Missing in action.
Lean into your mediocrity. Don't deny it. Embrace it. And when you're challenged, hide behind identity politics. 2 years after leaving Johnson's office, Ossoff took shamelessness to a brand new level. He went on Twitter and encouraged people who follow him to support one of the leading propaganda outlets for the Communist Party of China. Especially during the 18th Party Congress, follow Xinhua, Chinese state media.
Oh, Tucker, that's just the beginning. I mean, not only does Joe Biden have to face off to his radical constituents within his own party, but now how is he going to answer to China would be the other question. Ossoff there being openly public about his support of state-run media coming out of China. Well, now, you'll have no excuses. You won't be able to say, sorry, if I do that, the Senate might come after me, or sorry, the House might come after me. No, that makes no difference anymore, Joe. You peeled away all the layers of protection. They're long since gone, but don't worry, they'll have additional demands. They're going to want you to pack the courts. Everybody will try to stop it. They'll be making sure they request that. And this squad that you'll now have to face off against, and Nancy Pelosi has been challenged by. Oh, wait till you see their 2021 agenda. Here's the members of Congress that I'll just Joe, give you the update of who you're going to have to worry about now. There's all the members of the squad, some making it, some not. Oh, it goes. It's going to continue to grow, and they have a whole charter for you of things that they'd like you to do, and good luck denying this now, Joe. I mean, care for the wronged, repair historic harm and systemic racism, emergency care, help everyone get and stay well and support workers, families, and small businesses as long as it takes, a good job for everyone, equalizing wealth. I can continue to tell you what it is. I've read all the talking points. You've been warned, Joe, but warned by Nikki Haley here, saying liberal elites have been conquered by the woke. They demand freedom but want silence and control anyone who disagrees with them. They demand equality but want to build a new society based on discrimination. They are set on using the full force of government to achieve their vision. Well, now, if Georgia continues to go the way it is, they'll have the full force of the government, Joe, led by you. The left is forcing its American worldview into classrooms. That's one of your agendas I'm going to read later, by the way, how every classroom will need to be changed. It's taking over corporate boardrooms, pushing businesses to make decisions based on politics and not what's best for the consumer and communities. Now that nasty capitalism we have, that needs to go too, right, Joe? Big tech is censoring conservative voices and forcing its leftist views on society, and who will you be left to blame on that one? And with Biden as president, if he was to assume the role, we should all be worried about the woke left. They will stifle free speech in the name of freedom and enact discriminatory policies in pursuit of equality and do it with a vision that has no resemblance to the America we know and love. But the America now, if Joe was to assume that role, will be squarely on his shoulders. Everything that's good and bad, and all the horrible decisions you'll be pushed into, Joe. I know you probably, most in America don't realize we're rolling over last night. Nervous as to what's coming because it's starting to come out now, isn't it, Joe? You see, the silver lining that my audience sometimes asks for, I'm giving it to you now. The silver lining that the Democrats do know there's a downside. But full control brings responsibility. This is a Washington Examiner article, and potential peril. With the party's far left emboldened to advance their agenda, centrist Democrats could find themselves pining for gridlock. It's always better to be in the majority, but progressives will put more pressure on a hypothetical Democratic majority than on a minority for obvious reasons. Centrist-leaning Democrats up for re-election in the next couple of election cycles will feel particular heat. We could stop there because I'll just give you my synopsis of what's going to happen now. You see, 2 years from now, you have the midterm elections, Joe. And there'll be no pointing the finger of blame at the Republicans if Georgia was to continue down the road it's going. No, the only one to blame will be you. And America will be watching. I have a feeling the Tea Party will be just a mere smidgen of the new party that will be forming against what your policies will ultimately do. Because as we read them and interpret them, it will all but destroy the republic. It will hand us over to foreign adversaries. The likelihood that Americans will feel that they are being treated fairly about 2 years into your potential presidency will be slim to none. More than likely, your radical left will force you into segregating a major portion of the society, making them feel isolated. Well, some of us Americans don't do really well when we feel isolated. And you've now given us more fuel to assure that this fire will be burning for many, many months to come as we watch and report on every single agenda and mistake you make, because now it's going to be real easy to do our job because there'll be only one party potentially in control. And if that happens, oh, good luck with that, Joe. I'd be rolling over all night too, because your nightmare is now real. The radical side of your own party, in your own words, will now be looking for you to enforce everything because they won't feel you have any excuses left and nobody to hide behind because all the boogeymans are gone. I can't wait to watch this unfold. Until next time, if you haven't subscribed to me here on the channel, I certainly hope you will, and you can pretty much rest assured that this sarcasm will be continuing for about the next 24 months or so, because if you can't laugh, you'll cry. And if you haven't gone to Restricted Republic, please do, because who knows how long we'll be allowed to point out all the idiocracy that's about to occur, and make sure that all that direction is pointed exactly at the party that deserves it for what's about to happen. And so if for whatever reason they decide that message is no longer going to be heard, which is being proven everywhere right now if you watch your favorites dropping like flies, get over to Restricted Republic, 14 days for free. I can't tell you how imperative that is, and the thousands and thousands of people who've moved over there can tell you and attest to it themselves. So restrictedrepublic.com, subscribe to the channel if you haven't. I'll see you soon. Hopefully that is the silver lining you've been looking for after what was a rather long and very painful night. Until next time, Godspeed and God bless. Justus Knight, signing out.
Understand that, and I support all you've been pushing me to do as well. Pushing me to do as well.